Auzu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Dear students, today I am going to discuss with you the chapter that is friction from 8th class science. As you might have seen a driver of a car or a truck slowing down the vehicle at a traffic signal. You too slow down your bicycle when you are needed by applying brakes. Have you ever thought why a vehicle slows down when brakes are applied? Not only vehicles, any object moving over the surface of another object slows down when no external force is applied on it. Finally, it stops. Have you not seen a moving ball on the ground stopping after some time? Why do we slip when we step on a banana peel? Why is it difficult to walk on a smooth and wet floor? Gently, we'll be doing an exercise, we'll be doing an activity so that you may be able to get the clear concept of force and friction. Gently push a book on a table. You observe that it stops after moving for some distance. Repeat this activity, pushing the book from the opposite direction. Does the book stop this time too? Can you think of an explanation? Can we say that a force must be acting on the book opposite its direction? This force is called the force of friction. Dear students, you saw that if we apply the force along the left, friction acts along the right. If we apply the force along the right, the friction acts along the left direction. In both the cases, the force opposes the motion of the book. The force of friction always opposes the applied force. In the above activity, the force of friction acts between the surface of the book and the surface of the table. Now the question is the friction the same for all the surfaces? Does it depend on the smoothness of the surfaces? Let's find. We'll be performing an activity to find out this. Take a string around a brick. Pull the brick by a spring balance. You need to apply some force. Note down the reading on the spring balance when the brick just begins to move. It gives you a measure of the force of friction between the surface of brick and the floor. Now, dear students, wrap a piece of polythene around the brick and repeat the activity. Do you observe any difference in the readings of the spring balance in the above two cases? What might be the reason for the difference? Now, we can repeat this activity by wrapping a piece of jute bag around the brick. What do we observe? As I was just speaking about spring balance, Spring balance is a device used for measuring the force acting on an object. It consists of a coiled spring which gets stretched when a force is applied to it. Stretching of the spring is measured by a pointer moving on a gradual scale. The reading of the scale gives the magnitude of the force. Now, dear students, you might have got the clear concept about the definition of force. Now, let me tell you something about factors affecting friction. Uh, we just discussed earlier, we discussed it. Now, let me let's take one more activity into consideration. That's make an inclined plan on a smooth floor or on a table. You may use a wooden board supported by bricks or books. Put a mark with a pen at any point A on the inclined plane. Now let a pencil cell move down from this point. How far does it move on the table before coming to the rest? Note down the distance. Now spread a piece of cloth over the table. Make sure that there are no wrinkles in the cloth. Try the activity again. Repeat this activity by spreading a thin layer of sand over the table. Maintain the same slope throughout the activity. Does the distance covered depend on the nature of the surface of which the cell moves? Could the smoothness of the surface of the cell also affect the distance traveled by it? Dear students, friction is caused by the irregularities on the two surfaces in contact. Even those surfaces which appear very smooth have a large number of minute irregularities on them. Irregularities on the two surfaces lock into one another. When we attempt to move any surface, we have to apply a force to overcome interlocking on rough surfaces. There are a large number of irregularities, so the force of friction is greater if a rough surface is involved. Now, dear students, you might have got a concept as on what the force of friction, on what factors the force of friction depends. This is all for now. The students I'll be once again with you by tomorrow. From here onwards, till then, Allah Hafiz. Assalamu alaikum.